thanks everybody for coming to another Sunday. I really appreciate it. And I thank you very much, Deb Sheppard, who is our commissioner candidate, one of 3, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello and welcome everyone. I am Deb Sheppard and I am running for the West End County Commissioner. I live just outside of Superior with my husband Craig, and I have been a lifelong resident of Montana. I graduated from Superior High School in 1981, and I have had 2 daughters and 8 amazing grandchildren, which I cherish all very deeply. My husband and I have had many businesses throughout our life together in wonderful Mineral County. We currently operate a business in excavating, which we both run with great pride. I have organized and run many successful benefit events helping people in need and donating sandbags for the lighting ceremony of our town, as well as participating with the loading and deliveries of firewood to families in need for winter warmth in their homes. I believe in new opportunities for everyone by welcoming more businesses to this community, which will allow great success for everyone to succeed. Welcoming and encouraging new business revenue to this county shows the people why Montana is a state full of endless opportunities, as well as a great place to settle your roots and raise a family. I also have faith that any business dream or idea that you may have is not only a dream, but it can be achieved by you. I can assure you that I am the person that will listen and fight for all the residents of West End and Mineral County. What happens in our community matters to me dearly, and I'd be proud and honored to be your next West End County Commissioner. Thank you. I have worked many different jobs. This includes working for the FAA for 11 years as a weather observer, which included schooling in Helena. I have been a business owner most of my life and continue to be a business owner. I have never held elected office. I think when there's an opening for a job in the county, it must be posted on Facebook, in the paper, on the bulletin board, every way to get it out to everyone so that they have the same opportunity to apply. I feel there's a need to be drug testing in our county offices. I agree that law enforcement should spend equal time in the West End and also in Alberton. I agree that all towing companies in Mineral County should have a rotating schedule. I don't think it should just be one company. I agree there's a need to have a traveling RN for the West End, so the older residents do not need to travel when they are sick to St. Regis or Superior. I agree we need to improve our emergency readiness when disasters hit, such as high winds, power outages, downed trees, and blocking access to our homes. Also, if there is anyone interested in the fire mitigation, I have handouts that can help you get that for your homes. I was asked about a term limits being reduced, and I'd like to know your thoughts on that for the commissioners. So I will take questions if anybody has any.
What are their term limits?
We go 6 years.
6 years.
No, that's the term.
The term.
There are no limits. You can serve unlimited terms.
Yeah. But you have to run again.
Well, not like
You have to get re-elected every 6 years. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Dwayne is now coming in. He's crossing 18 years as a commissioner now. So 3rd term going on 4th if he gets reelected.
It's just true. So.
I agree with term limits, absolutely, and I think 2 is plenty in 6 years. I think that we need to encourage more people in the community to get involved. And with transparency, I think it would be easier to get people involved. Because sometimes we just don't know what's going on to the fullest extent. We hear an agenda and we might see a blurb in minutes, but we really don't. The follow through is lacks continuity. It's kind of sporadic. When things are asked for and given, it's kind of sporadic, it feels like, especially for West End stuff.
So what kind of stuff do you actually help take care of for the West End, and where is your West End line at for the West End? What is considered the West End for your spot of being commissioner? Is it starting St. Regis,
No, actually,
Borgia, Cabin City area?
so actually, the West End starts, on the other side of Dry Creek, in Superior, or between Superior and Dry Creek.
Okay.
I happen to live out south side. To me, the West End is all the way to state line.
Yes.
And so I'm going to fight for whatever all of you down here want. I think St. Regis is doing great. And I just think that the West End is kind of forgotten. And it needs to be remembered. So that's where I'm at, all the way Packer Creek, to state line.
So for the folks that actually don't understand what the commissioners actually take care of, I mean, as one of the commissioners, what do you oversee? What is your job title, for being a commissioner? Oversee? Do you help oversee the police department, the sheriff's department,
I have
our
20,
roads?
there's 20 departments that the commissioners oversee,
Okay.
which I can tell you what they are.
Yes, yeah, but we all understand.
Hang on, okay. So these are the departments that the county commissioners oversee. The airport, the attorney, clerk and recorder, the conservation district, disaster and emergency, district court, elections, environmental health and planning, extension agent and 4-H, fairgrounds, health department, human resources, justice court, the library, the road, the sheriff, the superintendent of schools, the treasurer, and the weed district. That is what they will be overseeing. So, of course, somebody's gonna come in and say, I need this road fixed. Well, I can't just go, all right, we're gonna fix that road. I have to go to the right departments and say, these people would like these potholes fixed.
Y'all have to vote on that as well?
And we all vote on it, yes. I mean, everybody has a voice.
Yes,
And everybody can come to the meetings and have a voice.
yes.
And then you vote on it. And I'm gonna be right there at the table going, okay, I am your speaker for the West End. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a really big voice, and I will fight tooth and nail, and I will put 150% into everything I do. If I do a benefit, I don't even hardly sleep until that benefit's done, because I want it to run smooth and perfect. And I do that. That's who I am. Yes, ma'am.
What do you oversee in the sheriff's department?
Well, I think they have I'm really not sure exactly what they oversee, and I don't want to speak out of term, but I think anything that they want to do, they have to come and talk. Like to stop the lawsuits in our sheriff's office.
We've got a Brady cop for a sheriff, and the commissioners have done nothing about it. And my reasoning for asking is what can they actually do?
But I do know that we are going to have a new district attorney,
Right.
and they may play a big role in helping make changes. Which,
Hey, whatever.
Can you tell us more about the fire mitigation information you brought with you?
yes, well, I can pass it out if you guys want it. So I talked to Lene, and she has lots of money that she's willing to spend in the West End. This is just an example if anybody's really interested in this.
So does this go
This is
through
just
our
an
local
example.
fire department to get the mitigation, or are we going through Lene?
She is in control and it'll tell you, this is just an example, but she will be the one to answer any questions that you have. And she said.
So is this in addition to the, stuff that Willie Peck has already done up here? What's that?
It's different than Willie Peck.
Oh, good.
So this
It
is
sounded
not-
like some of that was, we were limited on how much, okay.
Already been minute.
Okay, you don't need it? No. You already got it, and I'll leave these with you to pass out to different
Leave
people.
them
but-
with the voter registration, because that's something that, yeah.
And so, basically, I didn't want to speak out of term when it came to Lene, because Lene is really, really smart at what she does, and I said, can I just give them your phone number, and you guys, you fill them in. So she will call you, you call her, she'll tell you everything she's got going on. I don't want to speak out of turn when it comes to Lene.
That's policy.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Does she work for the Forest Service, or it's an independent?
It's independent. And those are just examples on here too, by the way, you guys. But
So I do have questions. So, ever since I moved here, my biggest concern in regards to commissioners is the budgeting. So every year in June, there's a review of the budget, but, and in July and in August, there's a vote taken, right? But I don't see that we have actually audited that budget for a very long time. And it doesn't seem that there's a big enough interest, but I would like to know, would you be willing to actually audit that budget, to literally look at it line by line, and there is 289 pages of the budget, and I can tell you that a lot of stuff is duplicated, it's repeated, it changes from one section to another, and things kind of get lost in there. And I know that there would be an expense associated with that, but I think that a true audit, not just a review, not just having the department heads come in and kind of lay out what they need, but an actual true audit of that budget. Would you be willing to do something like that?
I would be willing to find somebody to do that. But yes, I'm very open to an audit. I think that would be wonderful. Because I think we need to start at the beginning and see where we're at, so that we know what funds we have to work with. Our county's in trouble. We have got to figure out how to fix it. I mean, it ain't, whatever's going on is not working. We gotta fix whatever we can to make it
Well,
work.
there sure is a lot of people fighting for positions for being a broke county. I mean, like on the sheriff's department and stuff like that, you know, with the sheriffs, you know, all wanting to be, you know, the sheriff and stuff is what I'm saying is, you know, for being a broke county, you know, you got two sheriffs that are really wanting the position, and if we don't have any money, why would you even try to go after something like that, you
I
know?
don't think it's for monetary gain. It doesn't sound like a place to me.
Well, there's one sheriff that just wants to make things better than the other one, he said he's gonna fight no matter what, which kind of don't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, there has been some conversation that if they want to shut down some of the libraries, they take that funding towards the sheriff's department.
So that's fine.
So that is all the libraries, but one money from there to help rent.
But I think that's part of the problem when we don't audit our budget. You know, I mean, every year, I know that households will audit their budgets, right? You know, we budget for vacation, for trips, or, you know, for anything in addition to, and I don't see that that's actually been done. And the review, quite frankly, is not good enough. A lot of the stuff is just rolled over, it's not even looked at. And we do have departments that do not utilize all of their funds. Then we have departments that are borrowing from other departments. Our general fund does not make sense. I mean, it just has not been looked at in so long. And I know that I've had commissioners in the past say, well, we don't understand the budget, that's why we have an accountant that we pay to do that. However, ultimately, the job of a commissioner is to balance the budget, right? So you should absolutely know that. So I think that with, just as an example with the libraries, if we truly understood what our libraries cost us, we might look at them differently, right? So-
Do you shop insurance at your home?
Mhm.
Okay. And I think the county should too.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And they don't.
And I think you have to live, I'm a business person, so I know that if I was out spending money and not living on my budget, I'd be broke. So I believe in living in your means. You have to. And you need a little reserve somewhere. Because you don't have reserve, you ain't gonna make it.
I think some of the people now are just too complacent in their positions and don't wanna be bothered by it,
Right,
and that's why we need change.
right.
We need someone that's gonna go in and fight, review, audit, inspect.
I mean, this gentleman right here is a working man. You can tell you're a working man.
I literally just pulled him out of the shop, so we gotta go.
So he's a working man. And he knows what business is about.
Having worked with the commissioners, various commissioners over almost 25 years, the basic problem was currently we have elected people with absolutely no business background.
No
You
knowledge.
have two gentlemen that were traffic cops. That's completely different from trying to run a business or any organization.
Well, Simon's worked in a mill.
Yeah.
He closed down. He's a great guy, I'm sure he's a great guy. But he worked in a mill, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying anything negative about that. But you need to have some knowledge of a business.
Well, you need to have had to do the right thing or you went broke.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
That's called business, you know?
And it doesn't take much to be broke.
It does get your attention. You do audit. You do try and figure out why the heck should I spend this money?
Right, well, and Hillary's correct too, some of the departments' budgets are fat, some of them are skinny, and the shifting of money is not being done equally or equitably, and so that is a big, huge thing that needs to be looked at.
Oh, yeah. And why do we have some of them?
Right.
Some of those decisions are not being made in the public eye either. They're being made at the table in between agenda items. And one thing that I have a really large problem with the commissioners currently, and I'd like for you to understand that this is not lawful, is cutting the video footage in between each agenda item and thinking that the table is theirs. It's not. We've gone over this. Roman has consulted with Mako and repeated it on video. That table and everything on it, including a personal cell phone, if you bring it to the table, is public business. You cannot sign off on somebody's request without it being in the minutes. And Wally's obstructionist attitude towards the public wanting to know these things has led to a power trip. I'm gonna just flat say it. Roman and Dwayne think they have a power trip, and they both told the public, no, get that from Darren. And the answer is, of course I asked Darren first. He told me to ask you, and you're telling me no. So I want to see, number one, the whole BS about anybody who records has to go to the back corner of the room. That is for the press, that is not for the public. And it's an edict that Dawn wrote and has not been repealed. And number two, stop cutting the camera during business, period. You go from gavel to gavel. You don't gavel at the end of each agenda item and then re-gavel again at the next agenda item and have 20 minutes of stuff the public did not see. So that is a problem.
And back to being a business owner, you've been a business owner for how many years?
I started right out of high school. Have a lot of different, I've done a lot of different businesses. You know, now we're into excavating, because that's what my husband wanted. My husband's a logger, drove a logging truck. And we'd get up whenever and saw a sunset. We didn't even know what a sunset was, because we, you know, go to bed at 7, get up at 2, and he would drive all over the world to get his logs and then haul them clear back. Oh, it's just so far, you know, it costs so much money. And in the meantime, I had a cleaning business and I ran weddings and did events, and now my latest is,
Do you have experience dealing with grants and state or federal government
I don't,
tap dance?
you know,
I guess you're gonna learn, huh?
I'm gonna learn. Not beyond learning.
I think that it's actually a learning process for our current commissioners too, because we just recently with Willie Pat got involved with whole Forest Service management and providing representation there, so that benefited our county
Yes.
to the tune of $3 million. So I'd like to see more interest and curiosity to find those kinds of positions that are available to us for just sending somebody to meetings.
We need money.
Do you know if the county has their own grant writer? I
Oh,
know.
absolutely not.
Okay,
No,
because at one time they were talking
No,
about
I
getting.
heard they found one.
No, they got Mako and another, Mako helped another grant writer do the most recent grant, and the housing bill, was that not also?
It's not grant, it's federal funds.
That's the federal fund. So the recent one that is being, that we got, that Ryan spoke about, that was with the Sheriff's Department and Mineral County commissioners with Mako that helped write that grant.
Because I
So
believe-
we don't have an actual grant writer in the county, to my knowledge.
Well, I know we did have a grant writer that worked for the health department, and I don't know if she's still around.
That would probably be
But she was
Amy.
specific
Yeah,
to
she
the
was.
health department,
Right.
that's Amy.
Correct.
I'm not sure what her last name is currently,
Yeah.
but anyway, but it was advertised a few weeks ago for a grant writer, and Dwayne did share when he was here that there was one applicant who was Amy. But I have not seen that as an action item on the agenda since then, so technically, then she should not yet be hired, because that will be done as an agenda item, is my understanding. But the county has advertised, yeah.
And Anne Marie, what do you do?
Hmm?
You're on the chamber? Are you on the chamber?
I am, yes. Mhm. Mhm.
And everything else you do?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So I did want to talk a little bit about what Juliet brought up about the public's access to the meetings. So the bill that was passed does require that there be audio recording, but because of our population, it does not require visual. But once that audio starts, it is not to be turned off until you gavel the end of the meeting, and that's not happening. So can we get an assurance from you that when the meeting starts at 8 AM or 9 AM, that you're just going to let it ride until the very end, whether it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? Because that audio should not be turned off until you gavel out of the meeting.
Well, absolutely, and I agree with you, because I had asked my daughter, she used to do, the minutes for Casey, for the commissioners, and she said that's been a huge thing, and her and Dawn have gone around over that, because she said, you can't do that, you know? And that's all my.
Roman knows this. He has called Mako and had to admit it in the middle of the meeting on video before.
Well,
They know
it
it.
was great when Juliet was video recording the meetings, and then she put them on Facebook uncensored, so everybody could see.
But so why did that stop?
Because I was threatened with arrest.
From-
Because I was told it was disorderly conduct to not obey Dawn Terrell when she told me I had to record from the back of the room while there were no microphones and speaker. You could not hear from the front row, much less. My video was hard. I had to up the volume so people could hear.
So this was from Dawn?
Mhm.
This
Yes.
Dawn is
Yes.
the one that started all of
Ryan
this.
Funk threatened to arrest me if I did not obey Dawn.
And by the way, that has never been rescinded. So if you come into the meeting and you plan on videoing off your phone, you're still expected to sit in the right back corner. So that should be rescinded. There are some people that would like to do lives because I mean, for instance, I get a delay, so it's really difficult for me to watch it, but if somebody's in there live, I can watch it. But that should be rescinded. It doesn't make sense to have it anymore because we are, recording it, audio and visual, so that should go away.
And so you would put it out so that people at home that didn't make it to the meetings because the roads were bad or they didn't make it,
Because
and
they
then they
work
could
for a
just
living.
listen to the whole meeting.
Correct.
And then we were doing live, so we had our cell phones or iPads, and we were doing it live, so, that you were watching it right there on the spot.
And you can still do that, but you have to sit in the back corner.
Yes.
Did you say it was Ryan Funk that said he would arrest you?
Correct. I called him because Dawn verbally and began to physically attack me on video the minute I arrived and set up. I walked out, I called Ryan, Ryan came talk to Dawn, never spoke to me until I came out and he said, you need to obey her or I will arrest you for disorderly conduct.
The sheriff should have more sense than that.
He did not investigate. I had a body camera on at the time and the video camera of Dawn's behavior, and he never gave me a moment of my side.
I've been involved, as you know, for a couple of people with the sheriff screwing up. We need a new sheriff.
If I had an axe to grind, this wouldn't be the first time people are hearing about this.
Yes.
I don't have an axe to grind. What I have concerns for is the public right to know and the public's right to participate in our government. And that's the one thing I have always consistently stood on with these recordings. It's not about me. I can make an ass of myself on my own time. But I'm willing to come forward and say, this isn't right. But I'm also not willing to fight with somebody who threatens to arrest me for civil discord.
I think what it's about is transparency.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I think what it's about is transparency.
100%.
It's a public office, you're voted in by the people, everyone should know everything. And I think just, like you said, starting the video, letting it run the entire time, what is there to hide? There should be nothing to hide.
That's all our money.
Roman-
Everybody that's in this community, this is everybody's money.
Absolutely.
So when that bill came forward to record and audio record commissioner meetings, Denley Logie was a co-sponsor of it. Denley Logie did nothing to help me know where it was at in progress and to be able to testify in favor of it. Whereas Roman Zalawi went on the legislature and had video time to go against it. So Roman opposed it when it came up for the vote in our legislature. That's just,
And I remember back then, the public was really upset when they wouldn't want to record anymore. And
Because you were taking minutes, right?
And they were asking then for them to do it on a Zoom. And they totally objected to be in a Zoom meeting. Oh no, now everybody can see it. Well, that's the point. That's the point.
but it was
What do they-
okay,
what do they-
but it was
what do they
okay
worry
during
I
COVID.
don't understand that.
It was okay during COVID that we Zoomed, but they cut in between agenda items then too. So it's, what the public wants is that transparency. That's our table. That's not their personal table. That's not their desk. That is our public business on that table. And if it's not, then it shouldn't be there. Period.
And there should be microphones up there too, because in between items, they'll whisper to each other. We need to know what they're whispering about. What are you hiding?
Okay.
That was somebody's boob job a while back.
That was
There was also penis extensions, if you recall.
That was only because they saw that they were on video and they were trying to make it into all a joke.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened.
And
It was a joke between two of the commissioners.
Oh.
Okay, but it was loud enough and
It was recorded.
it was noticed.
I am on our social media, go to minute here, and you're like, wow.
It's still there. It's on her YouTube page now.
Oh my goodness. Sounds really professional.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Professionalism at its best.
Hey, but they had a meeting where Dawn got to oversee the meeting with the county attorneys and the 2 commissioners behind closed doors, and they said, we investigated ourselves, and we found nothing wrong. And that was the end of it, and the public was livid.
Yep.
And that's it. Nothing happened.
She forgave them.
But she's not there no more.
No.
I don't forgive him. I was the one who sat right there and watched it happen and listened to it happen. I didn't forgive them, and I didn't get an apology either. Neither did anyone in the public.
No.
And that was our point. When we came forward, we said, we're sitting here, we heard what you just said, plus the other disparaging remarks that were made to another male that was in the room. We are offended. It's disgusting behavior. We are asking you to account for it. They refuse to account to the public. And we all were sitting in the room. We all heard it. In fact, she was not present. So we should have had the opportunity to confront that, and we were not given that opportunity. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
You may want to speak with your psychiatrist before you continue.
I'm thinking, holy smokes.
She's leaving out of here going, I'm out.
No, actually, you can't really push me around. I'm pretty good. I like to have a voice.
And she's a fighter.
I am a fighter.
She will fight.
I have a sweat, I'm not gonna say about my sweatshirt, but, I do have a voice.
So one of the things that, too, I've always been concerned about is that the commissioners are liaisons to the county boards, but oftentimes they are no-show. They do not show up. There has to be like this huge big deal that, or maybe it's something they're interested in. But that is part of your responsibilities
Right.
as a commissioner, and you should be able to report back out to the public. But we don't see that. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've actually seen a commissioner at a county. Maybe once while I was on the weed board for 4 years, I saw Roman. A couple of times Smalley did attend the fair board meetings, but I don't
The
recall.
school board,
Yeah.
their service.
Yeah, and so my concern is that they're funded, so those are county boards, meaning that we receive funds, taxpayer funds, and they should be overseen, or at least the liaison job should be done. And so a lot of those meetings are in the evening, which is not always conducive to somebody that doesn't live in town, but there could be an adjustment made to those meetings. But I think that the commissioners need to be sitting in there, because quite frankly, if you hear it firsthand, it's very different than if you hear it second, third, and fourth. And then if the minutes are not accurate, or even, I mean, there's some boards that have not presented meetings for 2 years. Those boards should not continue if that's the case. But the commissioners are not aware of it because they're not there.
I didn't realize they weren't there.
So there's
I'll have
a
to look
list
into
of
that.
those boards, and in the beginning of the term, or in the beginning of each year,
Right.
they assign each commissioner to this, that, and this, that
Yep.
board.
Yep.
They changed the language in 2023
Yep.
from may to shall, which means
You gotta do
they
it.
are supposed to
Yes.
attend these boards.
And that was public pressure. We pressured them into that change.
And we tried to say, at the very least, get us minutes every single meeting. Every single meeting, bring the minutes back and have them put into the record of the commissioners. It happens sporadically. That's the minimum we deserve. We want to know, LAPC is a big, hot topic, but it's also a very important board because it gets the fire departments together, the emergency services together, and it's probably the one thing that really directly affects the community and the citizens more than any of the other boards, you know, unfortunately at the worst time of your life. But we have no idea what's going on there. I don't even think anybody knows who's in charge of that board and who's continuing to be on that board, because some people wanted off that board because they weren't functioning in a good way.
Well, and the commissioners really need to spend more time out of the office.
Yeah.
I know they'll put on the agenda, but for whatever reason, that commissioner decides not to show up that day,
or you can't find them in the building.
Yeah, yeah. They spend very, very little time in the office, so if somebody did have a concern or whatever, you know, they'd have to try to get a phone number or an email and try to contact them that way. They don't always respond.
You're kidding me.
No, their offices are ghost towns.
One thing you might think about is putting this stuff on the web at the time it is happening. In other words, when you have a board meeting, you've got a camera, it's going on the web, the community can look at it. Because I don't think there's any significant expense there.
Good idea. And then people can watch it.
Yeah,
I know
well,
what's
it would
going
do
on.
the two things. It would give the community a chance to take a look at it. And it would say to the people, hey, you better get it together because we've got a camera going.
Right, and that's really important, because
It's
once
my
you're on
time.
camera,
Yeah,
then you do things a little different.
yes,
Because people are watching you.
yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
The meetings held in the commissioner's room, there should be absolutely no reason why the same equipment can't be used. And there's many ways to get space to house this video footage, because the commissioners get to use state website. I do not know if that is available to, say, the Fair Board or LEPC, but YouTube enables government agencies like our county to be able to use the YouTube channel. So you could put it there and embed it right onto the website for the county.
So I'm really surprised that they don't really like cameras in the meeting when they're so busy putting cameras all over to watch everybody,
Except the road department.
except for Bruce.
No, we added two new cameras. St. Regis got a camera on Interstate, and the Taft rest area got cameras.
Not in Superior.
Mine for 6.
Oh, I don't know about Superior, I don't think so yet.
Mine for
Brian
six.
doesn't
Yeah,
want-
6, 5, 6.
Brian doesn't want cameras at the road department out there.
Is that license reading also, or just a
Are you
camera?
shocked?
It's right on the reader board. The
That would
reader
be
board.
publicized.
I
It's hanging
think
out there.
it's just a camera that I'm aware of.
It's just a camera.
And there's no cameras in the original
License
building,
plate.
so the courthouse doesn't actually have cameras.
Yeah, it's not a
And
license.
there's one
plate.
downstairs,
Yeah.
but the
No,
other parts
They're
are.
outside, yeah, they're outside.
Yeah.
And then Funk sits and watches them. Because I was in his office not very long ago, and I said, so I hear you got a lot of cameras, and he turned it and said, yeah, see. I'm like, okay.
He's watching out for Juliet, or is she gonna come in with a?
I bought a brand new hatchet
She
just
didn't
the
have
other
an
day.
appointment for an open door, his open door policy.
Which, by the way, is a closed door.
So his meeting that he had here, he was telling everybody he has an open door policy, you can come see him anytime.
He's always there.
He's always there, and then, Juliet went in there to have a meeting with him, and he told her no. And, she was shut down right off the bat. But
No, I texted him and asked him if I could have a meeting. He said, yes, make a date and time, come to my office. And I said, can I record it? He said, why do you need, it's in my closed office, why do you need to record it? I said, because it's about public safety and the public deserves to know. And so he called me on the phone and threatened, it's insinuated threats towards me if I continued to grind the axe.
Well, when you showed up, no, did you get trouble for ambushing?
That was, he actually did meet with me, but the witness to the domestic violence was with me, and he believed that that was an ambush to bring the witness to the
So
violence.
make sure you make an appointment for an open door policy. Call ahead.
And just wear a glove.
This
Yeah,
is
we
my
might do
freaking
fine.
appointment right here. That's my
I'm
appointment.
not gonna lie, I've got to.
You have to.
What are those?
Cameras,
Oh,
wearing your chest.
You just stick it right there.
Mine's a necklace.
Oh,
Touch one button for 3 seconds, we're done, or we're started.
I gotta
Gives you a
carry
nice
one.
flashy
They
light.
always try to rust my ass.
what do you do?
I said, I gotta carry one, they always try to rust my ass.
So what do you do?
I post about pigs.
So I'm Edie. We talked on the phone. This is my husband, Sean.
Oh, Yeah.
We do all of our own welding, fabricating, building our own motors, everything.
Tires, chains,
Yeah,
general mayhem.
We do everybody's tires, switch out everybody's tires, just so
We-
everyone here
this
to,
last,
whatever.
this last winter, in one day, we pulled 15 semis up the pass with one record, just one after another.
We had an,
And I'm sure you probably did because there was a lot that was
we had
not.
one MHP officer out there helping the county, of course, never shows up.
So we need one highway patrol, we need one plow truck, and then just a couple of, maybe just with us, just one truck to pull with. So especially when they got and that was a busy night, they had over 100 semis backed up wanting to make it through.
So how many jobs do you think, I'm just gonna ask you a simple question. How many jobs do you think you have missed out on because Superior Towing is getting all the jobs? I'm just a question.
Half of their revenue.
Yeah, because you gotta think, if they went through all the revenue and what they made, what they made on every tow, because county rolls up there and goes ahead and references Superior Towing on everything.
Kind of like, was it Friday? There was 2 county pumps out here, MHP had to back them up, and they had Superior Towing sitting at a hideout for, just sitting on standby.
And they just went on the direct on
I am
Thursday.
2 miles from the hideout, but they're gonna have them come from there for standby. And I kind of giggled because they couldn't find the guy and they went back with nothing. But then they're yes, they're looking for somebody, I don't know who they're looking for.
But you gotta rotate. I
Phone
mean,
doesn't think so.
Extreme just went out of business, didn't they? Didn't Superior, Extreme Towing out of or Slowway or wherever they live, St. Regis?
Extreme Towing, Montana Towing, Shoulders Towing, that's Superior Towing, bought them out.
Right.
Yeah, I listened to them for a few minutes about how they lost their business.
And then, there was others too. But, I mean, as far as us, I mean, all of our equipment is paid for. So, and plus we also run a trucking company as well.
And they fabricate, they
We
build.
fabricate, we
they
weld and fabricate everything we build. So we're not running, chasing money, we fix everything. We have older trucks, all of our trucks, we don't have one truck that has any new emission stuff on it.
But it shouldn't matter.
It does because.
As long as it moves, semi or does something on a wreck, it wouldn't matter if it was an antique.
It has
as long as it runs.
inspection every year.
There you go.
Inspections every year. NCS, which is the DOT, they come out every year. It's a mandatory, they come out and inspect all of our records. And then Highway Patrol comes out and does their record inspection. Now, Idaho, they don't require that, us being on rotation. They'll come out their very first time, they'll inspect everything, and then they won't inspect anything unless they get a complaint from one of the other tow companies or something.
But to be on rotation for Idaho State Patrol, every one of my employees has to be fingerprinted and background checked.
But we don't have to be here.
Why?
Not one.
They never made it a law, never made it mandatory, or they just don't care about anybody's kids.
I list that I have to update every 6
You're
months,
pulling
and I hire
some
someone,
equipment and
they have
you're
to
not
be
testing
fingerprinted.
or
Oh,
fingerprinted.
we're drug tested, but as far as being fingerprinted to make sure that you're, when you're hauling families and stuff like that, you don't have, a background of being a pedophile, I guess.
So all your employees are drug tested and fingerprinted and background checked. Okay, that's important.
Even our office workers and yes, everybody. And once I know we all do it.
When I went for the tow company, I said, oh, I'm getting drug tested, he goes, oh, you drive the chair in the office, no.
I don't care.
All of our employees but 2 have a CDL. And one works the office and the other one stays in the shop full time. So,
I drive, I'm fingerprinted, I'm background checked, but I'm drunk. I do, my drug test I have to go out for, I do in-house drug testing. I was in Tennessee for a week and was trained, and I go through a drug consortium, which I'm sure you're aware of, through Tennessee, it's NASTIC. And so they tell me quarterly, all right, you're going this one. So I don't even get a choice if it's drug specific. So, which is good because a lot of this my
And
family.
can you guys, offer your reefers during the,
they
yes,
do.
if anybody needed it? Yeah,
They-
I saw that.
We've
That's
actually
really
run 2 of them over to Idaho to Walmart. They've sent us over there to do that.
cool.
And
Wow.
we've run them over here to the hideout and offered them to Lincoln's, anybody local, just fire up the reefer units. And we have walls where we can do multi-temp. we can do frozen in the front,
Save their food.
keep refrigerated food toward the back. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, the hideout had their freezer went down, and she just freaked him, and he had it on there maybe an hour.
then they turned around and they were doing some remodeling, and then we just took a trailer and dropped it down there for a couple weeks for them to remodel. That way they could keep going and making money and selling product and stuff
I
like
just
that.
asked her to keep the for the diesel, to run it for them.
Hey, next time you get a beer truck that rolls in, will you call me?
Send it to join the volunteer fire department. They get called up.
Yep.
You're not fifty so lately?
That's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, they just had french fries and onion rings or something. some
Onion
truck.
rings and drywallers for
that one up
That
there
was the one
was
they get
sheetrock,
away.
wasn't it?
sheetrock and onion rings.
Nobody died in that one though, I don't think.
No.
Did, nobody died?
We haven't had an accident, knock on wood, I mean, we're very lucky, we've never had a
You don't want that. Yeah, the one little gal that flipped her car in that wreck, she had 2 little babies. She didn't have them with her. Normally she does. She was gonna pick them up and then take them to St. Regis to the clinic, you know, like that little run. And for some reason, she decided, I don't think I'll take them today, thank goodness. And then she flipped like 4 or 5 times in the ditch and didn't have her babies with her, thank gosh. That'd have been long.
I saw guys listen to that good.
Yeah, you listen to that guy. Well, we would have been in it, us 2 girls would have been in it. But, because we had stopped in St. Regis, and we were deciding if we're gonna stop at the store and get the newspaper, if we're gonna go on to Superior. And last minute, I said, I think we're gonna stop at the store here. And we shot in and visited for just a minute, got back on the, I'd have been passing that truck. And I don't know that all 3 of us would have survived that one, you know? And I'd probably been going really fast to pass this truck. It wouldn't have been good. So please eat, you guys. Can you smell those onions? They are so strong.
Yeah.
But they're really good sandwiches, so eat. And if you're not gonna eat, take some home for a snack later. Okay? Does anybody have any more questions for me? No, I'll do it.
What made you decide to run and not since there's 3 candidates?
Well, I didn't know there was 3 at the time. I like change, and there's things that
Don't change here.
didn't make me happy, and so I thought, God, I could just write a lot. Why don't I just go and apply for county commissioner and have a voice? So that's what I did. I mean, I would love to have a community center put in Superior, you know?
Yeah.
I would love that, because they do a lot of benefits, and there's no place to put them. And I'm very proud of my last benefit we did for our garbage man. We had Lyle was our garbage
I
man.
read about that now.
He ended up, he has a little girl that's 9 right now, but he ended up having a tumor in his brain. We thought we had it kicked in his back. So it's terrible. The kid is, late 30s. Wonderful man. Love him. So I did a benefit for him, and we made, in one afternoon, over $90,000 for them.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge.
That is huge.
And we did it, and every dime goes to them. That's just how we do it. We don't, cost me a lot of money to do a benefit, but I never take a dime back. I just don't. If I'm gonna jump in, I'm jumping in.
And then when Logan and Jenny got shot at the 4A bar, and the benefit for that also raised a lot of money.
I was in a really bad accident, you guys really probably hear, but I was in a really bad accident, I turned 60, and I went out 4-wheeling and decided, as we're going 40 miles an hour, that, Deb would open the door. And I did. I opened the door, and you don't open suicide doors. But I was so worried about the door getting broke that I decided to unhook my seatbelt, and so I could just really get a hold of this door. Well, it sucked me out.
Why were you opening the door though?
Oh, I had leaves in the door, and I can't stand it. So these maple leaves were in the door, and I said, I'm gonna get these leaves out of that door. So I did, and it sucked me out, and it flipped me down the compound, the blacktop, over 100 feet. And I would have been out, I was fine, I had a little bit of brain bleeds and blew up my eyebrow and my wrist and whatever, but I'd have been out, but I ended up overdosing. They overdosed me in the hospital and killed me. After I came out of that, I kind of decided, life is really short. And there is a reason that I have survived this. So maybe it's because, yeah, God was on my side. And maybe it's because I have a voice. So I totally jumped into I would love to be a county commissioner. I believe that I have a lot to offer. And if I'm the chosen one, I will do 150% to help you all get whatever you want. That's what I have. So.
Yay.
Yeah, so now I'd like to do my closing really quick.
Oh wait, I have one thing to say.
Oh, what do you need, honey?
Well, I've known Deb for, 15 years probably, then grew up with her stepson, and I've just been in awe of her my entire time, because when Deb makes a goal, and she says, I'm gonna do this, she does it, and it is incredible to watch, because she takes charge, and she doesn't really care necessarily who she offends or who she bothers. She's always diplomatic, but she gets the job done. And she's not the best snowmobiler. No, but anytime we go and do something,
The trees like me.
we have a budget for whatever we're gonna go do. We plan out all of our food, and she's amazing. I've never seen anyone like her, ever.
We built a cabin off of the grid. So we both quit our jobs, my husband and I quit our jobs and decided we're gonna go build this cabin, a huge cabin for some people from another country. Well, there's a lot of snow that goes up there. So we have to snowmobile in, but I had to buy groceries for 6 months to feed a crew, no kidding, to feed a crew of 12.
And you were gonna carry it on the snowmobile.
Rode in on the snowmobile, yeah. And I could only buy my meat and my dairy. And I had 3 meals a day that I had to cook for them. And I'll tell you, it was a blast. It was a blast. There would be mornings though, when we'd snowmobile 40 miles. And of course, I'm not that good. And I'd say, well, I'm not gonna go last because something's gonna get me, an animal. And I'm not going first because I'm not good enough. So it was a challenge, but it was so much fun. So much fun. We had a blast. So I can plan ahead. And I can cook. So I still do Super Bowl for them.
Have you made a list of the things you think need to be changed? If not, you might want to consider the things in the county that the board is responsible for. What are those specific things, starting with the most significant, that you might want to see if you could get changed?
Well, the first.
And the other thing you might consider is having a small group of people to advise you on specific things. In other words, a spectrum. Somebody here might know medical stuff, somebody over here might know construction, etc. And that gives you sort of your own board to try and figure out what the heck to do.
I like that.
I like that a lot, Bruce.
I actually love it.
That could include,
But you do have some stuff here that would explain some of the stuff you're already working on.
I already talked about that, didn't I? What are you talking about? I did. I read all that. No, he's just saying that if I get elected, I should have my own little
Right.
group of different people that I can take stuff to and say, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
And I love that.
And that is something that you've already started working on, so.
I think that would be a great idea.
Remember that our schoolhouse here is always available too, to have community meetings for feedback. If you've got a project and money coming up that's going to be allocated like that workforce housing bill, I think the West End wants to really be included in that, you know, and the fire department, we're always looking for help. The neighborhood watch, I'm sure somewhere we can find grants to help us on that.
We got the county now, it's election
Oh,
day.
you're good. There's one sitting on there right now.
So what, it's January what, 3rd?
We're gonna tell them it's election year every year, that's the deal.
One of the other things that I've been concerned about for a few years is our county revolving loan fund. I think that also needs to be a transparent transaction every single time. We need to know how much money is in there, how much has been loaned out, the purpose of it, when those meetings are held, if they're separate than during the commissioners, and it's kind of coded in the agenda, so you don't always know what that means, if that is in fact a county resident coming in to ask for funds. So that, I think that needs to be really, really clear. But we don't know, who has borrowed money from us? It's our taxpayer dollars. So I think that we need to know that kind of stuff. I think that the commissioners need to make that 289 pages available to us. If we pay for it, it's about $70. I did not buy it this year, but that's a lot of money and it should be made available. When I said I would love a printed copy, I was told to decide what was important and then just ask for those pages. Well, the entire thing is important, but it should be available. Our tax dollars have already paid for those copies. So I think but I'm just really concerned about that revolving loan fund.
So why do you have to pay for the copies?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, with technology now, why can't they just
Let
upload
me see,
it
I see on the
on
website.
the website and then you can read it on your computer?
I just
and
want to
print
know
out
about
what you
the
want?
money.
There you go.
You know, the county, well, not money, they're a bank.
Yes.
I'm not never broke.
Yeah.
Keep telling you you're broke, you gotta loan that money.
And the majority of people don't know that, right? And there's a select, not everybody knows that. It's a huge difference.
You have to be able to.
Well, I
And
can
then,
move it,
and then the commissioners have a discretionary fund, and it seems as though there's a confusion over that. Discretionary funds means that it's something that other money is not allocated to, not what they personally would like to fund. So I think that needs to be looked at in a really neutral sense, right? I know that the St. Regis Senior Center just went in and asked for some money. I know that there's money in that fund. I don't understand why they did not release those funds. It seems like it's very, very necessary. But I think that a lot of things are not looked at on merit. They're looked at, well, I'll do that because I'm interested in that, or yeah, I'm kind of involved in that. I think it needs to just be super neutral. But those discretionary funds also, we need to know how much is in there in the beginning of the year, so that would be July, and then who can apply, who can ask for those funds? Well, the answer is every single one of us should be able to ask for those funds, because it's our tax dollars, it's not the commissioner's money. So I've been really concerned about that for the last few
I think
years.
there's also stipulations with those loans,
Yeah, they are a loan too, they're getting paid back.
They get
And
back
interest, so
But
it's
you
not
also-
stolen or.
You also have to provide a business plan.
Well, I know all of that, that's what I'm saying to her though, is that being done? Where I'm not that I don't believe you guys, but I know that it's done, but I wanna see it for myself.
Yes, it
It's
should be
my tax
transparent,
dollars.
yeah.
So that's my concern, is that show us what you've got, show us the books, and then, and who has it been given to, and how much interest is being paid, all of that kind of stuff.
And is it being paid back?
And is it being paid back?
And we're investing the interest money.
That's
Or
right.
donation, give more, or
Yeah.
is it good to pay or something?
And I don't know recently, but I know in years past, way back when I started my business, I thought about trying to get one of those loans. And it was like, it depended on the year, how much money was in that fund. It's not the same amount every year, or maybe it is now, but
Well,
it
and that's
wasn't
the problem,
18
is that
years
if we
ago.
have 100,000 and we have, 10,000, we should know that. We should not have to go searching for all this stuff. It should all be readily available to us. Yeah, it should just all be disclosed.
I didn't even
All
know
of
that was
that
such a
should
thing in
be
Brooke
under
County.
summer. I mean, it's probably not that, when I was looking at it, it was less than $100,000.
I know
But
that
it's just,
Sharon
it's,
and
if
everybody
you get
else is
somebody
there.
started,
Yeah,
I'm
I think it's
just joking around.
I think a lot of people
Joking
say,
about it,
"See,
not
I'm
really
getting
planning
money,
on
we'll be
the
seeing
road,
that
so
stuff
I
and
ain't
that stuff, and I'm
what I
blowing
mean,
up.
God,
Anyway, it's always the money for me. Bottom line, it's always the
It
money.
is for all of us. It's
Yeah.
like-
You probably should swap numbers, that way if you get on, you can get her call.
I got her number. I got her number.
You might wanna put that at the top of the list.
Put in my favorites. Okay. Thank you for coming today to meet with me and allow me to learn about your concerns, money, and answering questions. One thing I can promise you is that I will never ask for a donation from you. All I ask is for your vote, so we can improve our way of life in the West End. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.